Welcome to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Los Angeles. Today we are joined by Zev Yaroslavsky. You know him well. 20 years on the LA City Council, 20 years on the LA County Board of Supervisors. He is now the director of the LA Initiative with the UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs, which recently released a report. I want to focus on two elements of it, and the first deals with immigration and deportation. The report surveyed many folks in Los Angeles County about the fears of deportation in the era of Donald Trump. What did the survey tell us?
Well, what we asked our survey respondents, and there are 1,500 of them,
right,
countywide, are you, a member of your family, or a friend in fear of being deported from the United States? That was the question. 37% answered that they were worried. The question was, are you worried? And,
right.
And 37% said they were worried, and half of them said they were very worried.
And when you look at ethnic breakdowns, 56% of Latinos
Yes.
worried, about a third of Asians.
That's correct.
Whatever you may think about the new policy coming out of Washington, these numbers are upsetting. I mean,
Yeah.
To hear that Angelenos are afraid, I don't know.
Well,
it's
look,
just heartbreaking.
it's the numbers were surprising to me, and I thought they were staggering. The fact that people who are immigrants to this country, or who know people who are immigrants to this country, who may be married to an immigrant,
Right.
who may be dating an immigrant, we actually followed up with our respondents with follow-up questions to try to get a little more into the depth of why they're worried. And it varies. I mean, this is a very diverse city and county. We talk about it, it's almost a cliche. It's
right.
the most diverse county in America.
10 million people in the county.
10 million people, and 43% of whom are Hispanic. A significant number, 10, 12% are Asian Pacific Islanders. 26 or 27% are Anglo in the county.
Right.
So this county has changed over the last quarter century. And it's very interconnected. Everybody knows somebody who is an immigrant or whose parent is an immigrant.
Right.
We talked to a gentleman in the San Gabriel Valley who was a half white, half Latino person who was dating a Latina
Right.
whose mother is undocumented, and he's worried about his girlfriend's mother being deported. So everybody knows somebody, and there's a varying degree of worry. And let me just make
Please.
this point, Brad, that when we talk about 19% being very worried, that's 1.9 million people in LA County that think they have a bullseye on their back from the immigration authorities, or someone very close to them has a bullseye on their back. Now, what's the implication of this from a policy point of view? We asked a follow-up question.
Please.
Of those who are worried, how many are reticent to sign up for a government program?
This is stunning.
80% of those people said they were reticent to sign up for a government program. Now, those government programs are to serve them and the rest of us. It's going into the clinic and getting a vaccination, going to the clinic and getting an antibiotic if you got an infection. It's signing up for a housing program.
What about calling the police?
Or calling the police.
That's
or
what's
being a witness
troublesome.
in a crime. So, and we have plenty of evidence now, both data and anecdotal. Chief Charlie Beck, a month ago or so, announced that the number of people in immigrant communities who were reporting domestic violence cases to the police had plummeted. I have heard anecdotally that in the Department of Children and Family Services at LA County, that the number of people in immigrant communities who are accessing DCFS for services
Right.
to deal with their kids or foster kids, that has dropped. I'm certain that the number of people coming to clinics in the county health system in immigrant communities has dropped, because these folks come from countries where they never trusted the government. Whether you're Russian or Armenian and you lived in the former Soviet Union, whether you come from Nicaragua or Honduras or Guatemala, or whether you come from some of the countries in Asia or Southeast Asia, the government was not something to be trusted. Why would they trust our government?
And that just plays right into this.
That's exactly right. And I think some of the fears are unfounded based on fact, because the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles have made it very clear they are not going to participate in turning over names of people to the immigration authorities. But the fact that people don't trust that that won't happen makes it a high level of anxiety in our community.
Do we know what these numbers were during the Obama era?
No, this is the first time we asked this question. The survey, which I launched with UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs, is a countywide quality of life index. So we have a whole complicated index that we can look and we started it last year, but the idea is that every year we'll do it, we'll be able to compare year to year what the trend lines are, but we didn't do it before last year.
I understand. What I thought was most interesting, in the wake of all of these fears about the divisions that arguably are being created because of deportation policy out of Washington, 79% of your respondents said that race relations are at a peak.
Yeah.
I mean, how ironic that you know, we all feel good about each other and how we interact with each other.
So that's a major change in Los Angeles County, and I think it's a surprise to all of us. Last year when we did the survey, race relations and how people see themselves valued and treated in Los Angeles was the second highest rated in satisfaction. This year it was #1. So the trend line is going up, and up significantly. So people who, non-Anglos, feel very good about the way they're being treated. Of course, Anglos feel pretty good about the way they're being treated. The level of satisfaction with race relations, religious tolerance, with ethnic relations is at an all-time high.
And it's particularly gratifying to hear that in that we are, I guess, commemorating the 25th anniversary of the Rodney King riots.
Yes.
So there's a lot of discussion about it right now. And when we think about that time, I mean, look, I lived in Los Angeles at that time. I don't know that I felt that race relations were at a nadir, but clearly it was. And so you were there. I mean, do you have a sense that race relations were particularly weak then and are particularly strong now?
Well, there certainly were challenges among the races at that time, and the distribution of the racial demographics were different at that time than they are today. It's a much more integrated or diverse population in Los Angeles County today than it was 25 years ago. Anglos were the predominant majority 25 years ago. They're not anymore. But I think things have changed. Attitudes have changed, mores have changed, young people have totally different attitudes.
You mentioned integration, and I do want to hit on that in our final moments. Look, I do feel as if race relations are strong in Los Angeles, but I also feel as if that we are pretty segregated. You know, we kind of live in our neighborhoods.
Well, when I said integration, I meant as a
understand.
society, not physically.
Right, but it sprung the question into my mind.
Look, I think it would be a mistake even to read the survey and think we're in the clear. We're not.
Right.
We had a perfect storm in 1992.
Yes.
Everyone was surprised in 1992 about the explosion that took place. Everyone was surprised by a lot of things in the 90s in terms of race relations. I think what's happened in Los Angeles and in Southern California, which the rest of the nation is now going through, is we've matured. We've dealt with it, and we continue to deal with it. This is like a diet. You don't do it for a week and then call it quits. Working interracially, interethnically is a matter of survival for our region. A region that is so diverse has to have the ability to talk to each other, and we do it.
We'll have you back.
I look forward to it.
He is Zev Yaroslavsky. He is now the director of the LA Initiative with the UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us on Local Edition.